The transport ship Meridian shuddered as it dropped out of hyperspace near Earth's orbital stations. Captain Adnan Malik stood at the viewport, watching the blue marble grow larger against the star-filled void. Behind him, the soft hum of the ship's life support systems masked the quiet sobs of their passengers, refugees from 3 different species, all bearing the scars of galactic rejection. "Captain," came the voice of his communications officer, Nehal Yasmin, from her station. "Earth Control is requesting our manifest and purpose." Adnan turned away from the viewport, his dark eyes reflecting both exhaustion and determination. They had been traveling for 6 months, moving from system to system, watching as one civilized world after another turned them away. The Zephyrians were too tall, too foreign-looking for the Centauri colonies. The crystalline Vorthak were deemed incompatible with silicon-based worlds. The gaseous Etherians couldn't find a single station willing to modify their atmosphere processors. Tell Earth Control we're carrying 847 refugees from the Outer Rim conflicts, Adnan said, settling into his captain's chair. "Species, Zephyrian, Vorthak, and Etherian. They're seeking asylum." Nehal's fingers danced across her console, her hijab shifting slightly as she leaned forward to focus on the incoming response. After a moment, she looked up with surprise. "Captain, they're asking us to proceed to Luna Station for immediate processing. No delays, no rejections." A ripple of disbelief passed through the bridge crew. After months of closed doors and hostile responses, this felt too good to be true. Down in the cargo bay that had been converted to refugee quarters, the atmosphere was tense. The towering Zephyrians, with their elongated limbs and iridescent skin, huddled together near one bulkhead. Their leader, Thexnal, had stopped speaking days ago after the 20th rejection. The Vorthak, beings of living crystal that sang in harmonious frequencies, had dimmed their natural luminescence to almost nothing, a sign of deep despair in their species. The Etherians, existing as controlled atmospheric clouds within portable containment units, swirled sluggishly, their usual dynamic patterns reduced to listless drifts. Adnan made his way through the refugees, Nehal beside him carrying a translation device. He had done this walk every day for 6 months, checking on their passengers, offering what comfort he could. But today felt different. "My friends," Adnan called out, his voice carrying through the bay's speakers in multiple languages and frequencies. "We are approaching Earth. The humans have agreed to see us." Thexnal's large, compound eyes turned toward him. "Another rejection awaits," the Zephyrian said, his translator rendering the melodic tones into flat, emotionless words. "We have learned not to hope." "Perhaps," Adnan replied honestly, "but I've been studying humans during our approach. They're different." Nehal activated her tablet displaying the information they had gathered. "The humans have no Galactic Confederation membership," she explained. "They're considered a young species, barely 1,000 years into space travel. Most of the galaxy views them as primitive. Primitive species rarely welcome strangers," sang one of the Vorthak, their crystalline body flickering with dim, sad colors. "That's just it," Adnan said, crouching down to be at eye level with the smaller beings. "I've been reading their history. Humans have a pattern. When others are rejected, when others have nowhere else to go, humans have historically opened their doors." The Meridian docked at Luna Station 6 hours later. The station was a bustling hub of activity, but not the sterile, segregated kind they had encountered elsewhere. Humans worked alongside various alien species. Some Adnan recognized, others he didn't. What struck him most was the easy interaction between them all, the casual cooperation that spoke of long-term integration rather than merely tolerance. Station Commander Elena Rodriguez met them at the airlock. She was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and calloused hands that spoke of someone who wasn't afraid of real work. "Captain Malik," she said, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting. "I've read your manifest. These people have been through hell." "Commander Rodriguez," Adnan replied, shaking her hand. "I won't lie to you, every other world has turned us away. Some violently." Rodriguez's expression hardened. "I've heard about the Centauri incident. Shooting at a refugee ship?" She shook her head. "That's not how we do things here." Over the next several hours, Adnan watched in amazement as the humans processed their refugees with an efficiency born of experience. Medical teams adapted their equipment on the fly to examine Vorthak crystal matrices, Engineers worked frantically to modify atmospheric processors for the Etherians. Social workers who had clearly dealt with tall species before made the Zephyrians feel welcome despite the height difference. How? Nahal asked Rodriguez as they watched a human child laugh while playing with a young Etherian's controlled wind patterns. How do you make it look so easy? Rodriguez smiled, watching the interaction. You want the honest answer? We're used to being rejected ourselves. For most of human history, we were the ones with nowhere else to go. Refugees, immigrants, exiles. We understand what it means to be unwanted. She turned to face them directly. Every human alive today is descended from someone who was once a stranger in a strange land. Our ancestors were the ones other civilizations turned away, the ones deemed too different or too dangerous. We remember what that feels like. Adnan felt something tight in his chest loosen for the first time in months. And now? Now we're the ones with space to spare and resources to share, Rodriguez said simply. The galaxy rejected these people, but that doesn't make them any less valuable. We know that better than most. 3 days later, Adnan stood once again at a viewport, but this time he was on Luna Station watching the Meridian prepare for departure. His ship was lighter now, not just in mass but in spirit. The refugees had been distributed to various human colonies based on their needs and preferences. The Zephyrians had chosen agricultural worlds where their height would be an advantage. The Vorthak were heading to mining colonies where their natural ability to interface with crystalline structures was prized. The Etherians had been welcomed by atmospheric research stations that were eager to learn from their unique perspectives. Ready to head home, Captain? Nahal asked, joining him at the viewport. Adnan nodded but kept watching as transport ships departed the station, carrying their former passengers to new lives. The galaxy rejected them, he said quietly. 847 beings deemed unworthy by civilizations that span star systems. But not by humans, Nahal observed. No, Adnan agreed, finally turning away from the viewport. Not by humans. They saw people who needed help and they helped. It's that simple. As the Meridian prepared to depart, Commander Rodriguez's final words echoed in Adnan's mind. The measure of a civilization isn't in how advanced their technology is, or how vast their territory. It's in how they treat those who have nothing left to offer but their need. The galaxy had rejected them, but humanity had opened its arms, and in doing so had shown what it truly meant to be human.